and welcome to Fyrside Chats, conversations that inspire innovation. Fyrside Chats is a series of interviews with startup founders and enablers, leaders in business and government, and industry players in Western Visayas that push for innovative ideas that impact communities. This series is an initiative of FyrLab, an Iloilo City-based startup acceleration program funded by the Department of Science and Technology Region 6 and run by the Youth First Initiative Philippines Incorporated, with support from Western Visayas, a regional consortium of startup enablers, and the Innovate Iloilo movement. I'm Daryl Safin, Program Officer of FyrLab Accelerator, and the host of today's chat. E-commerce is not just a new way for small and medium enterprises to do business. It also opens them to markets and opportunities that they may not reach or experience if they remain stuck with the traditional means of running their business. How well do small businesses understand e-commerce? What are the opportunities waiting for them in this field? And where can they find help if they want to get serious in getting into it? To discuss all that with us today, we have Kent Novie Tacsagon, Trade and Industry Development Analyst at the Department of Trade and Industry Iloilo, and Anvie Magbanua, Operations Manager of the e-commerce platform Bakal. Thank you guys for coming today. This is Fyrside Chats. So, for the benefit of all our viewers who are hearing about you for the first time, can you give us a little background about yourself and what you do right now? Anvie first.
Okay. So, thank you, Daryl, for this opportunity. So, once again, I'm Anvie. I'm the operations head for Bakal, the e-commerce platform led by Youth First Initiative Philippines, Inc. So basically, Bakal is an e-commerce platform. It's also a mobile app right now, already catering for local businesses in order for us to transition them from traditional selling na may tindahan sila to the online platform. Because no matter how popular e-commerce right now in the industry or particularly in the community, there's still a lot of struggling entrepreneurs who wanted or who would want to go into an e-commerce platform, but they don't know how to. So, Bakal bridges that gap in between entrepreneurs and the consumers. And at the same time, it gives other opportunities for those individuals, not just an e-commerce platform and a mobile application to be displayed into the digital world, but at the same time, Bakal prepares them to be able to scale up their business, not just online, but of course, on the back end naman siya.
Kent?
So, hello everyone. I'm Kent from the Department of Trade and Industry, Iloilo Provincial Office. I am a Trade and Industry Development Analyst. And basically, what we do in DTI goes beyond what you can hear in the radios. Probably you can relate DTI to SRP, that's just the retail price, to the business name registrations. But actually, DTI is doing more than that. We also assist MSMEs under the Industry and Development Division. And basically, what we do is we conduct consultancies together with them. We ask them what their concerns are. It may be on their financial side, so we link them to the financial institutions, or probably on their marketing side, especially right now on the e-commerce where it has become really relevant given that all the transactions are now done online. And especially since the pandemic, what the pandemic actually did to the business is that it fast-tracked us to conduct e-commerce even more. So yeah.
All right. Sige. So we hope you would want to expound on this a little bit more. No? So also for the benefit of the viewers who are hearing e-commerce for the first time. So what is really e-commerce and how does a business engage in that?
Yeah, so I'll go first. E-commerce, let me check on my notes. As defined by the Philippine Statistics Authority, is the sale or purchase of goods and services, whether between businesses, households, individuals, governments, and other public or private organizations conducted over computer-mediated networks. And the PSA further qualifies that the goods and services are ordered over those networks, but the payment may be done offline or online, and the ultimate delivery of the goods or services may also be conducted likewise. Basically, when we say e-commerce, it is defined as electronic commerce, doing your business online, using the practice of commerce using electronic means. That's what the word itself says, e-commerce. So based on this definition presented, the business can engage in e-commerce If, for example, it applies online payments, it accepts online payments, it displays his or her products online through online selling platforms or through Facebook Marketplace, for example. And also by, for example, utilizing apps for deliveries. So yeah, that's it.
So it just has to do any of those things, even just one of those things, mag-engage sila sa amo sila, e-commerce na siya.
Yeah.
So they are employing e-commerce
Employing
already.
e-commerce.
Okay. So ano ang advantages ng e-commerce, particularly for small and medium enterprises, and what opportunities are waiting for them in this field?
So e-commerce, some of its advantages are first, it has a wider business reach. When you conduct e-commerce, your business is not limited to one place. Your business is not limited to your office. Your business is not limited to the four corners of your shops. But when you conduct e-commerce, you get to sell your products or services to a wider market. As long as they can access your platform, they would be able to buy or purchase your products or services. So that's one advantage, the wider business reach when you do e-commerce. Another is that the low operational cost. When you conduct e-commerce, usually you do away with, compared to the traditional brick and mortar business, you do away with your rent, you do away with your utilities expenses. And these expenses are actually converted to, for probably, internet na subscription, but which is significantly cheaper compared to operating a physical store. So another advantage is the lower operational costs. Another is that when you practice e-commerce, you have flexible operation hours. As compared to the traditional store, when your store closes, your customers will not be able to place orders, right? So in contrast, when we conduct e-commerce, your customers can still order your products, even though you have probably logged out of your Facebook if you post your products on the Facebook Marketplace. And the next day, you would be seeing their orders. Whereas kung halimbawa, nagkadto di ang client sa imo shop and then close, you don't have that guarantee that the next day they will come back and order your product. So those are just few of the advantages that a business can get if they engage in e-commerce.
Ano naman ang mga opportunities? Like for example, I am a business owner who operates a brick and mortar store, and I want to get into, so I've heard about e-commerce and I'm kind of interested in getting into that. What's in store for me if I decide to go there?
Yeah, so when you go to e-commerce, as I have mentioned, those advantages, you can actually get all of them. Wider market reach at a lesser cost. You don't have to go there physically to present your products, but rather you just post that online. You can give them the links. Also, as I have mentioned, the one on the lower operational costs, and the last one is the flexible operation hours.
Does it give them like a chance to grow any particular aspect of their business, or say grow their customer base, or perhaps their own physical store? Is that something that they could anticipate when they get into e-commerce or get serious into it?
Yeah, actually, when the first, well, not really the first, but among so many conditions before you engage in e-commerce is that you should have this stable, or I could say na established na customers, at least at kahit small group lang, you have this established customer group, so that eventually, if your customers sincerely love your products, they would be the one to help you market if you opt to go to put your business online. So yeah, siguro one of the basic requirements is you must have, even though a small group lang of loyal customers, that they would help you. And by getting this small group of loyal customers, eventually they would be the one supporting you as you go online. They would be the one to kumbaga mag-share, na mag-encourage for other buyers to come to you. Yeah.
If I may add also,
Yes.
Daryl, in relation to what Sir have mentioned at the same time, given that e-commerce right now is solely based on technology, the feedback is very much shorter. The feedback time is very much shorter, and it's very much instant at that point. If you are an entrepreneur who is seeking to improve your product or your services and you still are not that established, as earlier mentioned, the feedback that you will be getting in terms of knowing what your customer wants, what they don't want, it's way faster right now in social media. And the way that people or entrepreneurs right now react to this one is dapat mabilis din. Kaya, this is in relation also to, well, it could be a concern right now for traditional businesses because the shift is actually fast-paced. Compared to being a traditional business, medyo matagal ang decision-making, matagal ang lahat. But if people are engaged right now in e-commerce, mas mabilis ang lahat ng bagay na nag-move forward. For instance, if you have cake business, pagkatapos, may nag-order, you cater the order, but they were not happy about it. Right now, it's very important or it's very fast for a market or for a business to grow or to die in social media. So I'm saying social media because it's also part of an e-commerce world right now. Malaking contribution in social media in terms of marketing your products, having your market reach, knowing your customer base, malaki ang nagiging impact nun in terms of running your business. So, that's one, I think, addition dun sa effects of an e-commerce to businesses. The fast feedback or the shorter feedback time that you need to wait. And at the same time, in terms of medyo, it's a hit or miss in terms of security. Because of course, that's why DTI is there to be able to help everybody na hindi tayo mabogus buyer, mabogus seller. Mabilis din siya. I think that's the catch and at the same time the risk of having an online business. Kasi gusto mo na mabilis. So, you need to also invest in trust, invest in your time. At the same time, you really need to, tawag dito, kailangan mo makipagsapalaran. That's basically how commerce works. Kailangan mo makipagsapalaran. It's just that, mas mabilis na siya ngayon. So, sabi nga nila for business, the faster you fail, the faster you rise. Kasi, you learn lessons instantly. So, yun yung another side of technology that is present in e-commerce platforms. And at the same time, there's so much for us to be able to improve that aspect. But ang end goal lang naman niya at the same time, all technology-related businesses, technology-related services, at the end of the day, dalawa kasi ang phases ng lahat ng bagay. We have the positive and the negative. It's just that we wanted to educate people to be able to avoid the negative side. That's why DTI and of course Bakal Lokal is here at the same time to be able to reach that kind of clientele kasi medyo sa Pilipinas medyo apprehended pa ang tao na mapapagkatiwalaan ko ba to? What's good about e-commerce right now is may ganong issue, but it also gives the opportunity for small startup businesses to be able to launch their business or product na hindi ganun, sabi nga ni Sir, hindi ganun kalaki yung capital. At the same time, they get the pulse of everybody. So parang, kasi pag tumayo ka ng business, you would shed out lots of money for you to be able to know kung click ba siya. But for e-commerce, konting ganun lang. So, you would have the opportunity to reinvest or change your business plan, business model, even your products pag na-launch siya on e-commerce before you actually open your own store.
Yeah, and that's actually some of the things that you've mentioned is related to my next question for Bakal Lokal in particular. No? So, you mentioned already about consumer safety, about the market's hesitation in engaging in e-commerce and all that. So, as someone like leading an e-commerce platform, what are the opportunities that made you see that Bakal Lokal is actually a viable platform to set up and to promote into the SME market as part of your business-to-business model of the platform?
So basically, Bakal Lokal was also a pandemic response project. We all know what happened during pandemic. A lot of businesses closed. Bakal Lokal started, or Youth First Initiative started, and we were the ones who pioneered Produkto Lokal in Iloilo. And during the time that pandemic was at its peak, alam natin there were restrictions. There should be physical distancing, no gathering of crowds, etc. And slowly, we came to realize that paano naman yung mga sinusupport na MSME na nagkakataon lang na wala silang store. As in, literally, they're micro-entrepreneurs na wala silang store. They're just very dependent on events, fairs. So, doon sila nagbe-base na mabuhay ang business nila. So, what will happen to them if they don't have the platform to be able to have or to sell those goods that they have during the pandemic? Kasi nga, walang fair eh. Walang event. So, basically, Produkto Lokal goes digital. The result was Bakal Lokal. It was very clear from the start that it was a pandemic response project for us to be able to help micro, small, and medium enterprises, specifically in Region 6, to jump off. Kasi at some point, when they are dying, they need to see something or they need to see a reason for them to be able to savage their business. Kasi the market was down. And we have entrepreneurs who have so many goods that they needed to sell, but they don't have the platform for it. Ang masaka pa, if they are traditional businesses, they really are not tech-savvy. They need somebody who would do that for them. And during the pandemic, lahat naman kasi busy adjusting. There's nobody who would be able to cater to that need of them. Parang kahit kami, we were quite on the dilemma of, paano ba natin gagawin to? But eventually, si market na mismo ang lumalapit kasi nga, they needed that eh. And Bakal Lokal is spot on a platform that caters that kind of businesses. Kasi we started supporting micro, small, and medium enterprises. And right now, Bakal Lokal is also geared towards helping those micro, small, and medium enterprises in the region to transition from being entrepreneurs to being technopreneurs. That means already injecting technology in how they run the business. So, because if you are a traditional business and you will be setting up your own platform, it would take you a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of know-how, a lot of personnel. Basically, para kang nagtumayo ng bagong negosyo. But when we presented Bakal Lokal to those micro, small, and medium enterprises, it actually did not cost that much sa kanila. Basically, when we started Bakal Lokal, it was offered, everything right now the platform is being offered to them for free. So, ikakarga lang nila doon, and part of the condition or part of the mission of Bakal Lokal, it doesn't stop by having those entrepreneurs have their products or services in the platform. It's very important for us to be able to educate them as well. Kasi, sabi nga, teach man to fish and they will eat for a lifetime. You don't give them just the fish. You teach them on how to fish for them to be able to sustain the business. Kasi very important for YFR, Youth First Initiative, Produkto Lokal, and Bakal Lokal. One of the core principle of those three projects and our organization is sustainability. Kasi mahirap na binigay mo, tapos sila din, hindi nila ma-equip or hindi nila mapapatuloy ang project or having that kind of platform if you really do not educate them on how to do it. Hindi forever na nandito lahat ng tao just to encode them, etc. But we really need to train everybody to transition, especially yung traditional businesses natin.
Yeah, in relation to that as well, so you're already mentioning about entrepreneurs getting into the platform. So can you briefly describe the process of how an entrepreneur who is interested in getting into e-commerce would want the help of and would want Bakal Lokal's help? How do they get into the platform?
Okay. Very good question, Daryl. For those who are interested or MSMEs who wanted to be at the Bakal Lokal platform, ibibigay ko na lang yung comparison. During pandemic, we only have the database for our product to local merchants. Since Bakal Lokal is a DOST funded project, we also had the database of DOST funded businesses because DOST is also supporting businesses to scale up. So, ang ginawa namin, we started with that list. We asked for that list. Kami na mismo ang nag-contact sa kanila individually kung gusto nila or they wanted to have their products into the platform. And over time, nagbe-build kasi siya kasi si ma'am, my friend ng friend. So sige ma'am, i-refer nila na siya sa amin. So basically ngayon, ang process on how to get into Bakal Lokal, kung wala kang friend na nag-refer sa'yo, just try to message us on the Facebook page of Bakal Lokal or Produkto Lokal. You can message us in there, then just tell us what is your business, where are you from. Pagkatapos, we have a dedicated sales and marketing team who will keep in contact with you. And after nun, the application process, we will actually right now, ginagawa na talaga siya namin. Before ng pandemic, medyo mahirap. We visit you para nakikita namin ang produkto. Because that's a form of security on our end kasi kami ang nagma-market, kami ang nagbibigay. So, paano naman pala galing pa sa platform namin ang bogus buyer? Ang bogus seller. So, it's also a form of security on our end. It's not just actually security, but it's also part of us building relationship with them kasi nga, ang sabi nga namin before, paano naman sila magtitiwala sa inyo kung number 1, di kayo nakita, number 2, you don't offer them more than what they're giving. So, kumbaga, it's part also of our commitment of educating them kasi mahirap nang nag-educate ka ng tao na hindi nakikita or hindi mo nakikilala. So, it's also part of our commitment to them because hindi lang naman siya kinakarga ang produkto sa platform. We also do the needs analysis of those MSME. Kung do they need assistance for training? Do they need assistance for funding? For marketing? For upgrading their resources? So, we also refer them to our partner agencies. We have the OST, we have DTI, we have DA, we even have the ICT. Para kung kailangan nila, like for example, for DOST na lang, I'm familiar with DOST projects lang din kasi for packaging, kailangan nila ng magandang packaging and we can refer them to DOST and also we can refer them to TBIs or Technology Business Incubators kasi usually sila din yung may facility to do that. Even yung facilities ni DTI for shared resources, we can offer them kung saan yun, yung may malapit sa kanila for them to be able to avail of those services. So, yun. Even, actually, to be honest, I'm also a KMME graduate. Part of DTI's commitment in helping MSMEs is educating them on how to run their business and how to navigate through the business world, especially for startups. And yun yung natutunan ko din from DTI na hindi enough ang bigay mo lang sa kanila. You really need to educate people and by there, hopefully, we are praying na sunod-sunod na siya.
Yeah. So instead of the small businesses setting up maybe their own social media pages or setting up their own website, they could go to Bakal Lokal and have get their products on board and then they get all these sorts of assistance from the platform itself. All right. So you mentioned about referrals to government programs that could help them and needs analysis for their venture, for their business. Kind of a business development assistance also, no?
Yes.
So that's part of it. So yun. So that's basically some of the advantages of getting into the Bakal Lokal platform. Instead of say, gusto ko lang yabi mag-set up sa akong Facebook page, matumatukan ko lang, I'll just put my products on marketplace, no? So because there are several types of touch points din for their customers mo. So I mean particularly online and there are a lot of tools that they can use. So like why would you go to Bakal Lokal instead of just doing all these other things? Right?
True. It seems to Bakal Lokal wanted to deliver a one-stop shop. ngayon, right now, before Bakal was just a website, we already have now the mobile application both for Android and Apple. At the same time, we realize over time, Bakal have been running for almost 2 years now, and we realize Ilonggo market is still very much traditional. In such a way na they still wanted to see the product. Kasi iba pa din ang feel na nakikita, nahahawakan mo ang produkto kaysa dumarating lang siya sa'yo. Which is why Produkto Lokal, Bakal Lokal is also part right now of Produkto Lokal Hub, wherein we already have the Bakal Lokal Eco Store, in which yung mga products na nasa website, it's also displayed in the store para it's kind of blended. When, because iba pa din ang feeling that you shop eh. Iba pa din ang physical na nandyan na siya. So, it doesn't kill both kind of business. It actually complements them. Kasi, for example, ay, bumili ako pero wala akong time. Then, go online. Have it delivered through your doorsteps. Ganun lang naman siya kadali. And medyo, I'm craving for this one. Pero, lagay mo, tinatamad ako mag-online. Dumaan na lang ako. So, okay. We welcome that as well. Para at least, it's also one advantage siguro for MSMEs that who are on board Bakal Lokal, because it caters both the online and the offline consumers already. So yun, that's another advantage siguro for those who would be enrolling in Bakal Lokal.
Right. Yeah. So Bakal Lokal is obviously an opportunity for small and medium enterprises, no? To, like a stepping stone for them to get into e-commerce. But would like to get the view of DTI. What are the challenges that SMEs face when they try to or when they attempt to go into e-commerce, and what is your organization doing in response to or addressing that challenge?
So one challenge among so many challenges that the MSMEs encounter, I could cite one which is infrastructure na side. This is very important since even here in Iloilo, rural areas tend to have slower internet connections. You sometimes even not all barangays or not all towns have signals. Bisan kuryente, iba wala pa. So that's the challenge. And right now, on the part of the TTI, we encourage investors, we continue partnering with them. Like, for example, just recently, if you have also heard from the news, the DTI has pledged his full support in the application of the Space Exploration Technologies Corporation of the well-known Elon Musk here in the Philippines. And current Trade Secretary, Secretary Mon, hopes that with this, mga investors, the SpaceX, it would eventually help give the MSMEs, the consumers, better internet connections. And as a result, it would also give probably good competition among here sa mga existing mga telecom companies. And also, this competition would lead to a much cheaper price for the consumers to avail. Yeah.
So in the groups of SMEs that you handle in, say, your consultations or in your programs, what's the most common need that they have in relation to e-commerce or simply selling online or going out of the usual brick and mortar style of doing business?
They have this sort of problems, knowledge gap. They want to onboard on e-commerce, but they don't have the idea. They don't have the know-how. And as Ma'am have mentioned, some are already aging. That they don't have the capacity, the time.
Yeah, even computer, some of them, they even don't know how to operate a computer system. What more to be able to have
set up
everything or something like that.
Post their products. Right. So yeah, that's one of the major concerns that clients would raise na, sir, di ako kabalo. Sir, I don't have the skills, for example, taking good photos of their products to be posted online because yun nga, if you don't get good photos of your products, how would the customers who buy it? So that's one of their concerns also. Another one is in terms of security, they don't want na maloko. So because as common ngayon, for example, digital fraud, the buyers would receive the products but they would refuse payment, denying the delivery. Or also, they would claim warranties, claiming that the products were damaged during transit, but actually they were the one who damaged the product. So those are the instances that makes the seller somehow reluctant to invest because, they don't want to be involved in this na magamuhan pa sila. That's how they say it.
They don't want to be fooled, and, and basically they are averse to the risks of the business. No? So are there any sort of assistance that DTI is providing businesses na may mga amuning concerns?
Yeah, so, well, of course, every one of us, and especially DTI, recognizes that building trust in transacting online is really essential so that the consumers and the sellers alike would be encouraged to go online. And with that, the TTI has been conducting webinars, and we have been partnering with mga cybersecurity companies. The one recently was on Nexus Guard. We have been partnering with them. The Nexus Guard, a cybersecurity company that assists businesses to avoid mga DDoS na protection. They provide that, the denial of service attacks, which have been, kumbaga, I know you're familiar with because recently mga government websites, university websites, they have been target to this. Also, we have been partnering with ePLDT, the ICT arm of the PLDT na company. And they also offer cybersecurity solutions. So these webinars are for free. Investment lang ni client would be his time and patience to listen to these talks. And they can be watched sa website or sa Facebook page ng DTI.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys already mentioned about the risks of engaging in e-commerce. So for Bakal Lokal, on the part of Bakal Lokal, I'm sure that's also one of the things that you watch out for. And so how do you make sure that the transactions are secure? No, transactions made via the platforms or via your existing other touch points like social media pages, and what are the safeguards in place, to assure the customers that the transactions are safe and would actually go through and would be worth their while.
Okay. So first off, I think I have to address two, the part of the seller and the part of the customer. So the part ng seller, as I've mentioned earlier as well, we really do visitation. So it's proof that we actually it's an actual person who is actually selling. It's not some bogus buyer. It exists. It has an address, a person, and a product. So basically, that's the first one. And at the same time, the products that they have are actually delivered here sa Eco Store, in which those products are the ones being shipped out. So, kung wala siya sa amin, basically dun sa website, it will be, kumbaga, ang magiging inventory niya, wala siya. Not until our sellers actually do their restocking, kumbaga. That's the thing. So, it ensures both the seller na transact ko siya sa produkto lokal ng tama. So, sa part ng seller, it's already the responsibility of Bakal Lokal. So, from the seller to Bakal Lokal, whatever happened to the goods that you have transported to us, it's the responsibility of Bakal Lokal, basically. Sa side naman ni Bakal Lokal to consumer, Bakal Lokal was actually developed na standalone platform. So, kumbaga, it was not anchored to some third-party website. It was hardly coded by our programmers, designed by our UI UX na in-house. So, nandun siya. At the same time, in terms of security of having your orders, before we ship out your orders, before we place it sa delivery partners namin, we actually verify that you actually ordered. That's one. Number two, our delivery partners, if it's local, actually calls you before delivery. So, there's multi-level security in terms of confirmation. We admit that right now, hindi pa siya ganun ka-secure in terms of online payment, but we are working towards improving that one because we are looking forward into catering outside of Western Visayas already. So, I think that's one of the major concern. Basically, ang concern lang naman, pag e-commerce, hindi ako maloko at hindi mawala ang pera ko. That's why it's taking, Bakal Lokal is taking much effort into securing that kind of measure, securing online payments. Kasi, ano yan pera ang pag-iusapan natin ang tao, okay lang siya, ay, nakikita ko siya. Pero pag nag-order ako at hindi siya dumating, or nagbawas siya sa pera ko, or nagbawas siya sa bangko ko, it's a different scenario. Kasi, a lot of things are at stake already. One, there's the data privacy of your customers. Kasi paano naman, there's another one which is the financial aspect. Kasi if we course through online transactions, hindi lang naman si Bakal Lokal ang involved doon. There's also the involvement of your bank or your payment partner at the same time. So yun, we are carefully doing and trying to recover that one. Because right now, for Bakal Lokal, the only transaction or payment that you can do online is through bank transfer and GCash. So, through that one, before we actually ship out, we need we need to check the proof of deposit or the proof of transaction. And hindi mo naman pwedeng mapeke, I don't know, but so far, and thankfully, wala pa namang namimeke sa amin in terms of deposit slip and transaction because we can actually counter-check automatically kasi real-time naman lahat ngayon.
And they are verifiable with like whoever partner they have, right? No.
And at the same time yun, pwede siya nating magawa ng paraan. Yun yung sinasabi namin ni Sir din kanina. There's concern in terms of infrastructure. Kasi there's also that concern na parang, ay, hindi ganun ka-secure ang internet line sa Pilipinas, ang kumbaga connection, so it might be a problem with the connection, etc. That's why for Bakal Lokal, at this point in time, we offered the hybrid. May store kayo na pupuntahan, may online transaction kayo because ang goal lang naman namin is to be able to generally help the MSMEs. So in whatever form we can help them, it's not just one aspect Nandun siya sa online aspect, nandun din siya sa in-store aspect. So para nabibigay namin yun kasi iba-iba ang target market ng different platforms na yun. But for e-commerce, terms of security, I think, ano lang din, also the persistence and at the same time yung pagiging, I forgot the term, but the customer, both the customer, kami sa Bakal Lokal, are also very much active or proactive in promoting security na parang there's always confirmation, etc.
Yeah. All right. Aside from the security of the transactions and of course the safety of the customers, what are the other challenges you encounter when you are running the platforms?
Okay. So, in running the platform, one major concern namin before was, knowledge gap. Kasi right now, ang nangyayari, if we do not train those MSMEs, ang mangyayari kayo lahat ang magmamanage nun. But eventually, over time, when you are growing, you actually need to teach them on how to manage their own pages. Isa pa, another challenge as well, I think, is because Bakal Lokal is overshadowed by big e-commerce platforms, but e-commerce or Bakal Lokal is being true na yung target namin na tulungan are local MSMEs. So, unlike popular shopping platform, e-commerce platform na kung sino ka man, nandun, pwede kang pumasok. For us, no. We would always and we would rather choose quality over the quantity of merchants or partners that we can have in the platform. Because this is dedicated to be able not just to uplift yung commercial aspect nila, but also to make known the story of these small micro micro, small, and medium enterprises in the region. Because kung nami-meet ninyo sila, there's much more to the product that they produce. There's actually a story, life story. Lahat nandun siya. And right now, we have noticed that those stories needed to be heard outside of their community. It needed to be heard by a lot of people. Kasi always na concern if you're buying artisan products. Ay, ang mahal naman nito. Bili na lang ako sa ganito kasi ganito lang yun. So, without informing actually the client or the customer that there's a long process or there's history behind this, there's story behind this. And yun, hindi lang siya monetary. It's also a form of boosting their culture, their story, their community.
And that's essentially
essential.
I mean that essentially adds to the value of the product.
Yes.
No? So it's not just the ingredients that they use, it's not just but also for many of the products, I'm sure it's also about the craftsmanship.
Yes.
And the culture that is infused in the products. So
Yes.
may amo na sila nga mga factors.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of factors
and
involved.
the Bakal is Bakal trying to make the market understand that better.
Yes. Bakal not just only packages your product, actually packages your brand. Because your story, your history, your culture, on how you came up with the product, it's part of the entire package that Bakal is offering micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is not just a simple, oy, negosyante ka, sige, ilagay mo doon para kumita ka, para expand yung market mo. It's also a way for us to be able to spread the word and to tell the world your story. Kasi yun yung nakita namin something unique about how Bakal is marketing everything. We tell your story and eventually na-realize namin the market just follows eh. Kasi they would better understand bakit ganyan ang produkto mo, saan siya nagsimula, bakit ganyan ang presyo mo. And there's more value to history compared to the actual price of the goods.
Sige, Kent would like to hear from you. So, parang this is going to be like the green light or the go signal, no, for small and medium entrepreneurs who are interested in getting into e-commerce and who would want to but are hesitating, etc. So, what is the best time and what is the best condition for local businesses to get into e-commerce?
Okay, so the best time for a business to be onboarded in e-commerce is as soon as it is ready. And by ready, I mean to say that first, dapat yung business owner has this proper entrepreneurial mindset that he or she really wants to go to business. Kasi if you put up online shop and then when you observe that you don't have sales and then you give up right away, you don't have the proper entrepreneurial mindset na siguro in the long run I would earn pa. So you would quit. So sayang. Another thing na when given that you now have the entrepreneurial mindset is that you should procure or you should secure rather the proper business requirements as well. Because it doesn't matter if your business is the traditional one, the brick and mortar, that you have the physical store or online, you still have to be regulated by the government. So you have to comply with the required business requirements. It does not exempt you. If, for example, e-commerce ka, online lang ako, tinda-tinda lang ako dyan without getting the proper business name registrations, the mayor's permit. So dapat yun na, secure mo. And then after securing that, make sure that your product before going online is tested and market ready. Na as ma'am cited a while ago, that the feedback is really fast, no? So dapat before ka magpalabas ng yung produkto, you are sure that it meets the expectations of your clients, that it's really good, it's really of the highest quality. Kasi it could make or break your business eh. Na you started business today but because of the bad feedback, you might not have the business tomorrow. So yan. And also, you should be able to meet the capacity. In case, for example, you should be prepared and gear your business. Na what if you post this product online and then biglang may umorder ng 1 one box or several boxes of your products without you having the capacity to produce that. So dapat make sure mo rin yan so that you meet the expectation of your clients and you satisfy their needs.
All right. Sige. What's your advice now to SME owners nga nag-hesitate gihapon yung mag-engage sa e-commerce? Now, despite, all the, maybe they already have heard all the advantages, all the opportunities that's in store for them, and then, they may already qualify in terms of those standards, in terms of readiness to go into e-commerce, pero somehow, nahadlok gyapon sila, hesitate gyapon sila because of whatever misconception that they have about it. What's your advice for them?
So basically, for all the MSMEs hesitant to still onboard on e-commerce, most of the businesses here in the Philippines, 70% are not yet onboarded on e-commerce. But eventually, they would be. So if you don't do it now, your competitor might and will do. So, and he or she might outrun you. So basically, you have to start now. Ask for the assistances provided by the government agencies. They are all for free naman. So it's just that you have to spend effort lang and you have to be resourceful as well on looking for these assistances available to MSMEs with regards to e-commerce. And also, sa DTI kasi we have this enterprise development track that we assist MSMEs little by little through baby steps. Hindi na punta ka sa amin, assist namin, bongga-bongga agad. So, at DTI, we prepare you. We analyze kung saang level ka na or how ready are you to accept this kind of assistance. Like, for example, kaka-produce mo pa lang ng banana chips, for example, no? And if we invite you right away to KMME, you won't be able to relate to the marketing na topics, you won't be able to relate to the regulatory na topics because you just have started producing. So probably we could invite you to attend the packaging labeling na seminars, the current good manufacturing practices. So through this framework, the enterprise development track, we cater MSMEs little by little. We assist them na baby steps nga, as I have said. So for e-commerce, we first advise them to register your business. It doesn't matter kung online, ukay-ukay ka, register your business still. Also, we advise them to start with the basic platforms. The one that we have identified, social media. You have the Facebook account, go and create one for your business na dedicated lang for your business so that you don't mix up your conversations, for example. So, after that, if your product takes off sa social media, maybe we can up the game by posting your products sa mga established na selling platforms, the Shopee, the Lazada, the Bakal, Lokal. So, little by little lang so that the MSME also would have the time to adjust sa mga efforts na kailangan niyang i-spend, sa mga resources that he or she needs to spend. So, at DTI, available lahat ito. And what's good is that our assistances cannot just be availed sa Iloilo Provincial Office or sa Regional Office. We have this mini DTIs in the municipalities here in the province of Iloilo. We have the so-called Negosyo Center. And in this Negosyo Center, we have the business counselors very willing to facilitate and to assist these MSMEs, not only on e-commerce concerns, but also on other aspects of business, financial, marketing, and packaging, for example. So that's it.
So same question for Bakal Lokal, but from the perspective of someone operating an e-commerce platform and supporting SMEs. Same question. What advice? Same question. What advice would you give SMEs na nag-hesitate yapon to get into e-commerce?
Okay. So this is something that is very generic, but is very true to businesses, and it was very evident during the pandemic. It's either you adopt or you perish. Dalawa lang yan eh. You adopt or you perish. And right now, the times right now would push you to adopt. Unless you really wanted to give up already. But hindi na kasi mapipigilan ang pag-angat ni e-commerce because right now the pandemic made it very evident that it is currently and already needed to be part of the daily lives of everybody. Especially for us here in Iloilo, that Iloilo is gearing towards being a smart city. Bakal Lokal is also proud to be partnering with Project Lungsod in the aspect of smart economy. So Bakal Lokal is partnering with them in terms of being a smart city. So yun, that's one thing. Either mamili na lang po kayo kung gusto niyo pong mag-grow, in which DTI, Bakal Lokal, is here to help you. Other government agencies are here to help you transition because alam namin na hindi siya magiging madali. Or you perish. Ganun lang siya. Then, at the same time, when you ask me kung kailan ang best moment, it would always be now. Because hindi natin alam kung what will the future hold. Hindi natin alam kung magla-lockdown na naman ba. So, paano mangyayari sa'yo kung you're not educated as a business to run an e-commerce platform or to be one in an e-commerce platform? Tapos nag-lockdown na naman. Ano na naman ang gagawin mo? How would you cater your customers again? At the same time, we know it's scary. We really know it's scary because everything that requires change scares people away. But we here in Bakal Lokal, of course, with DTI and other government agencies, are here to tell you that we will be here to help you grow as we grow as well. Kasi let's grow together for us to be able to be prepared to whatever is coming. Kasi kailangan lang naman natin mag-adapt eh. Or else, let's all together rest in peace. Ganun lang naman siya. But yeah, we are here. We know that it's scary, but we will be here to support you every step of the way. Sabi nga ni DTI, baby steps.
That's right. Thank you very much, Anvie and Kent, for talking to us today and for sharing all those insights na pati kami ng helpful gid sa aton yung mga SMEs nga nagalantaw. So, thank you very much, and we hope to have you in the next chats in the future. No, kung mayroon pa kita opportunity to discuss further about e-commerce and all the other things that would help grow the business community, including the small and medium enterprises in Western Visayas. So, thank you very much to the both.
Thank you.
Daryl.
Thank you guys also for tuning in to Fyrside Chats. We are here at the Produkto Lokal Hub Co-working Space on Halandoni Street, Haro, Iloilo City. Today's edition is powered by Molabe Studios, Shaping Ideas, Next Chapter, Capturing Stories, and Dame Digital, Marketing What Matters. Engage with us in future editions. Follow our social media pages, FyrLab Accelerator on both Facebook and LinkedIn to check the next schedules. And we'll see you in the next chats.